comments?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to probably pick up where we left off a little bit on this issue at the last meeting. At our last council meeting, I shared with council that I was very disappointed and upset. Upset takes it mildly. I was beyond that. I was upset to learn that Park Depot invoices for legal services from 2014 that belong to the town were presented by the plaintiffs, aka Providence Volunteer Fire Department, et al., in the legal proceedings. I asked every council person if they shared this information outside of council or staff, and I was told no by everyone. I shared my concern that this denial would mean that staff may be in violation of employee agreements, and we would need to address that breach. I think the minutes state that. As a result of that, I told council I would do this because it's important that we have confidence with staff and council. I personally interviewed each staff member. I know this was uncomfortable for them because they had previously responded to the mayor that they had not shared documents outside of council. In effect, council was questioning their integrity. Well, isn't there integrity that needs questioning? Here's what I found out. The town has a robust process in place to ensure invoices are kept secure behind locked doors. Staff did not receive a request from the public for invoices. If they had, that would have been deferred to the town attorney. Staff did not give invoices to anyone for 2014 except Pam Hadley. Pam has given specific date ranges for invoices on multiple occasions in the past, and this was considered out of ordinary for council. Pam was given specific invoices for 2014 of which she made copies. The originals were returned to staff, where they were once again archived behind locked doors. To staff knowledge, Pam is the only person on staff, only council person or staff member who has 2014 invoices. So Pam, I was put in a very uncomfortable situation of having to challenge the integrity of our staff. I think they do a great job. I'll ask again, did you give invoices or facsimiles from Parker Poe to anyone?
There's your answer.
Yeah.
I have not given any private, confidential
It's not my question. It's not my question.
Well, I'm not done. Bill Clinton. I'm not done. And in talking to the School of Government at Chapel Hill, and I quote, "In order for something to be redacted, it must contain specific information that falls within an exception to the public records law. A statement that a meeting was to discuss strategy does not disclose any specific information about attorney trial preparation or strategy and therefore would not be able to be redacted." So I repeat to you, I have not shared any private and confidential information.
It's not what I asked. Did you take...
That's my answer.
So you're not going to answer the question. Is that what you're saying? Is his question was very specific, and it was, and hold on, it was very specific, and it's did you, at any point in time, give 2014 invoices of Parker Poe to the opposing attorney or anyone outside of council or staff? It's real simple. It's a yes or no answer.
And my answer is very plain. I did not share any private, confidential information.
Yes or no?
Peggy, at this point in time, please note, in my opinion, she is refusing to answer this question.
Just to be clear, those invoices that came from Parker Poe outline in detail conversations that were had. So, for the record, I will ask again, did you share any invoices? I'm not saying confidential or not, because that was a wordsmithing that we got around last meeting. On the record, did you share any invoices outside of council?
Transparency.
Simple question. Peggy, please note that Pam elected not to respond.
I am, don't lie. You don't lie. I don't lie. But you have set this up as a private and confidential, and you and I have two different opinions as opposed to what is private and confidential.
And that's fine.
Excuse me, I did not say private confidential, I said an invoice. Invoices from our attorney. Did you share them outside of council?
That's it.
So I didn't say anything about private, I didn't say anything about confidential. Did you take an invoice? Did you ask him to give you invoices?
I do.
Did you ask him
I
to?
have got the invoices so that I could compile exactly how much was spent on the water tower, how much was spent on the interlocal, how much was spent on the lease, how much was spent on litigation, and how much was spent on town.
That's great. So did you give those invoices?
I did not give those invoices.
You didn't give those invoices from 2014 that you made photocopies of to anybody.
I have sat down and gone through those invoices and tallied the.
Pam, I will go one more step further because I did a lot of research. Okay? The invoice process is that when invoices come in, they are signed by the town administrator. At the time it was Amy McComb. The invoices that were presented in the lawsuit have her signature on them. So they were actually from the town. So if the only person that has access to those and made photocopies was you, my question again, did you share invoices with anybody outside of council?
Well, and I'm also under the understanding that Mike Smith got copies of invoices.
In 2015, the only person to receive invoices in 2014, which showed up in the lawsuit, was Pam Hadley. So I will ask you again.
What is your point?
Very simply, did you give copies of our invoice to anybody outside of council?
I have not given invoices. I have sat down
Okay, so
I have sat down.
have you given copies of invoices or facsimiles thereof to anyone outside of council? I'm not going to get into wordsmithing. It's a simple
Well,
thing.
but,
They
you
showed
know-
up in the lawsuit, their signatures are tied back and was sitting up in a locked closet. We have staff saying that the only person that those were given to was Pam Hadley. So if you say that they didn't come out of that closet into the lawsuit, then staff is lying. We have an employee agreement issue. And what you're now telling me is you're putting yourself above an employee. So I want to be very clear about this.
I'm not. I have sat down with another member of the community and gone through, but I have not given up copies.
Thank you. So you shared them outside
I
of,
did not.
you shared the material on them, and somehow those copies got to somebody outside the community based on what you just said. Because the actual copy of the invoice has Amy McComb's signature on it. So they're the ones that came from up here. So it's not that somebody looked at it, they may have taken a picture of it, but you provided the means and the opportunity for that. Is that correct? Is that correct? Is that a nod? Yes, so you can record that? I think Peggy, that was a nod, yes. So, let me share the other comment that was made out of this inquisition, unfortunately, that I had to perform, and I was not happy about it. Pam called Kim and said, "Don't lie about the Parker Poe invoices," quote unquote. This was done shortly after the court date where the invoices were presented, and the call was after the mayor called staff inquiring if invoices were shared because our town attorney had shared with us that was done. Did you make that call? Are those?
I have absolutely said do not lie.
Did you say do not lie about the Parker Poe invoices?
I very well could have.
Okay. Like I said, I was very upset. I'm more upset now because I think what you have done, and not owning up to what you did last month, is morally reprehensible. Because you've called into question someone's honesty and ethics by putting their livelihood in jeopardy. In my opinion, you have violated your fiduciary responsibility to this town and to all of its residents. What you have shown, in my opinion, is a lack of moral compass and poor judgment, let alone it represents the worst in unethical behavior. As far as I'm concerned, you owe this town and staff a heartfelt apology. The staff was very uncomfortable with this as a result of what you said last month.
I would like to echo Don's disappointment and frankly very disappointed and disgusted in your actions and putting not only the staff in an uncomfortable position, but Don, who had the unpleasant task of investigating this. So I want to thank you for doing the job well done, but I'm sorry you had to do that. But this was very unethical.